Right, this is it. Do or die. Tottenham season on the line. The second leg against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League Round of 16. Spurs 1-0 down from the first leg. Can we turn it around? Yes, but it's going to take a lot better performance than what we saw in Holland last week. This is it. This is all Tottenham have got now to play for. This is the project potentially on the line under Ange Postecoglou. I do apologise for the lack of videos on the channel recently. I've just been feeling a little bit burnt out making Spurs content. I think a lot of Spurs fans are feeling burnt out. I think a lot of Spurs fans are feeling quite apathetic at the moment to everything that's going on. But this game is everything. This game is absolutely everything. This is the chance to keep the season alive. That small glimmer of hope that some fans are still hanging on to rests on this game. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video as well. Get involved in the comments. Like I said, I do apologise. I'll be back uploading regularly. I haven't actually uploaded since the Ipswich game, and I do feel, I feel bad about that. I don't want you guys to just think I'm only upload when Spurs win games. That's not true, obviously. I've made plenty of videos after Spurs have lost because we've lost plenty of games this season. But it's just all been a little bit bleak. And with the league games being as they have been and poor, and you're not really learning anything from them, I feel like people aren't feeling maybe watching them anyway. But we are going to be getting back to regular uploading. I've got a lot of ideas for the international break as well coming up as well to kind of maybe look ahead to next season and look ahead at some players this season and maybe who Spurs can sign. There's going to be a video on Johnny Cardozo in the next week or so as well. I might do a video on Wilson Odobert, who I've actually got in my starting 11, and we're going to be doing a video as well, potentially assessing the new manager options for Spurs going into next season. Because this could be it for Ange. This really could be it for Ange. If Spurs don't win, I don't see how Ange is the manager next season. I think he will get sacked. I think Spurs will start looking for a new manager. I don't know whether he will get sacked on Friday. I don't know whether they'll give him to the end of the season. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And I like many fans, have supported Ange Postecoglou for a long time. I've given him the benefit of the doubt during this injury crisis. I've stuck by him because I don't think many other managers would have dealt with the circumstances that we've had a lot better. But I think I, like many fans, after that game against Alkmaar last week, kind of just lost any sort of glimmer of hope that we'd be able to turn it around under him. But who knows what tomorrow is going to bring? Who knows whether we're going to see a really rejuvenated Tottenham that are going to bounce back from, again, what was an underwhelming performance against Bournemouth on Sunday. Obviously, we did well to claw the game back and get a draw. But it was uninspiring. But this is the one that we're all in on. And this is the team that I think I would probably go with. I think there's a few adjustments that I'm looking at potentially making as well, but you guys let me know in the comments what you think. And you guys will notice that, one, we've got a brand new tactics board to play with, and we've also got a brand new slideshow feature to play with as well. Nice little few. We're making upgrades is what I'm going to say. I've ruined that. There we go. Look, can do stuff like this now. Hey, orbits all over the gaff, right? You might recognise this from James Alcott's videos. I've got the pleasure of being able to use this software in my video today, so thanks very much to James for that. And you will have noticed from the thumbnail that we've got Archie Gray playing in midfield. Is it time for Archie Gray to step up and become that number 6 for Tottenham, with Bentancur suspended, with Basuma seemingly out of favour, although he did start on Sunday? Is now the time for Archie Gray to use all that experience he's gained from playing all this football for Tottenham this season, playing at centre-half, out of position, being able to come out with his head held high like he has in a big game like this for Tottenham, looking ahead to next season as well? Is it time to give Gray and Bergvall the keys in midfield? I personally think it is. I think the thing that might hold Ange Postecoglou back from doing that potentially is going with that little bit more experience in Yves Basuma. Also, the fact that Kevin Danso is injured and will miss the game. Will he keep Gray on the bench for centre-back cover? Even though I think Ben Davis is back available for this game, so let's chuck him on the bench as well. That's the thing that I think might hold him back. But I think sooner or later, we're going to need to see it. We are going to need to see it. If anyone needs a reminder of how composed Archie Gray can be playing in midfield, we've got some little highlights to show here. And again, people will say, obviously, it's a massive step up from playing in the Championship to playing in the Premier League. Of course, but Archie Gray has shown this level against Premier League opposition last season in Chelsea in the FA Cup. It was an amazing performance from him. Under pressure here from Moises Caicedo. Sorry, I just wanted to do that again. I am still kind of coming to grips with as well. we will get, the more I kind of use this, we'll get to practice. But Archie Gray under pressure here from Moises Caicedo, takes it on the chest and then is able to kind of take it round him and drive forward. So calm under pressure, being able to hold off a very strong midfielder. Again, when you're playing out from the back, that awareness. Again, the level of pressure that he's going to face in the Premier League compared to in the Championship is obviously different. But again here, under pressure, man pressing him, that spin away, and then that ability to drive. So comfortable playing facing his own goal, which is again so key. Obviously in this Ange Postecoglou system, you think of where he's facing here. Obviously he's got to turn and he's got to get a way out of there. He's got that. He's got that unlocked. So good at playing on the half turn and then that ability to play out. And again, playing out from the back, obviously in this system, playing as a centre-back under Ange Postecoglou, he's very good at facing forwards and playing to what's in front of him and breaking lines. So when he does drop in, maybe into a centre-back position to receive the ball, there's obviously a lot of rotation when Spurs are building out from the back. His ability to play it right back as well will help him in there. He's played all across that kind of back line. Moving into midfield, I think will be, I can't say it'll be a doddle for him because obviously it is a step up, but I think now is the time to sit it. Again here, under pressure, facing his own goal, but using that intelligence, playing on the half turn, using his body to get away from players under pressure, and then driving forward. Again, when you think about Lucas Bergvall and how much he quite often likes to drop into this position when Spurs are playing out from the back, if I just move Gray up a little bit here and you kind of go back to Spurs' more familiar kind of build-up pattern, you've got your fullback out here. Your central midfielders kind of split that a little bit. Maddison kind of coming in as well. A Doggy offering that width. Son staying high and wide. Odebear staying high and wide. Solanke kind of dropping in. We see Bergvall coming in here quite a lot. So it might be Bergvall that's picking the ball up and then he can feed that out to Spence and then Gray can drive. Gray is such an excellent ball carrier. Although I don't think any of these players that Spurs have kind of got are the most natural fit for that number 6 position with the demands that Ange Postecoglou puts on them. I think Rodri is probably the only person in the world that is the most ideal fit. I think when you've got the intelligence that these two have got at a young age and their ability to understand the patterns, given the fact they've played so much football in this team for so long, regardless of what position they've played in, I think they're both going to be kind of comfortable when the time comes, whether it is tomorrow or not, kind of switching in and out, rotating, picking the ball up on the edge of the box, facing, not playing the way they're facing, using their body to be able to turn out of situations and then break lines as a result of that. And that's something we've seen Gray do for Leeds, and it's something we've seen him obviously do for Tottenham as well. Again here, that ability to kind of break up the play, winning it off Sterling, turning, driving, picking a pass. Obviously on the thumbnail I showed it as well, that you'll see Leeds scored that goal in this game from Archie Gray pressing high up the pitch and winning the ball back on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area, them turning it over and scoring as a result of that. Again, he might not get that freedom to go that far up, but we know when Benson Core potentially is playing that 6th position, he likes to go forward and be aggressive. So Gray, again, sensing an opportunity with Bergvall, who he has obviously built up a great relationship with on and off the pitch. Bergvall can kind of drop in to cover him a little bit more from that defensive ability, and also what you have from that defensive standpoint, and also what you have got in Gray and Bergvall is legs, because AZ Alkmaar they're gonna sit back. They are going to sit back for the most part, and they're going to hit us on the counter-attack with the threats that they've got in Poku going forward as well, who we know from obviously the first game we played in the league phase and obviously last week as well. This guy is a threat, whether he quite often moves over to the right and the left. And we actually saw that in their game against Galatasaray, the second leg. Again, this is something that Spurs kind of have to be aware of, their ability to kind of suffer and sustain pressure. Obviously, they had a 4-1 lead, I think, going to Galatasaray. And obviously, Galatasaray, I think, got a man sent off in that first leg. So, but regardless, it's still very impressive. And they went 2-0 up in this game, sustaining pressure at points, sitting that little bit deeper and using Poku kind of as that outlet. Again, here you can see him. I think he played on the right and the left in this game. That's why his average position is down the middle. But again, he was further forward than Troy Parrott, making runs beyond the striker. Mola Wolfe going forward as well. So he's going to be an outlet when they do want to sit in. The fullbacks, both fullbacks, Maikuma as well, are going to sit and be solid defensively, but they're also going to go as well. They are also going to go and support the attack, and they're going to suck up pressure, and they're going to try and hit Tottenham on the break. So I think having the legs of Gray and Bergvall in there as well is going to be vital, because they're so good at defending transitional moments, so good at breaking up play. Also, Gray's made a career or kind of introduced us to that more at Leeds. Obviously, Bergvall has shown it more, actually playing in midfield for Tottenham. But again, just last few bits. Again, here, Archie Gray using his body well to protect the ball. rolling across his man and then being able to play out. Again, that calmness under pressure, you're going to see it again here. Again, Archie Gray facing his own goal here. He's got the 2 options. Those are cut off by the Millwall forwards. He can't play, but again, he backs himself to get out those tight situations, wriggles away, calmness under pressure, and then they can build from there. Then he passes back to the centre-back, and then they can build, move out wide. So I think Gray has got that composure to 100% make the step up in a game of this magnitude, because again, when you're Leeds, when you're playing at the top of the Championship, you might be one of the best teams, but you think about how important those games are when you are going for promotion. You know, I know he played more at full-back than he did in midfield for Leeds last year, but I think he's ready. I do think he's ready. And I think what Spurs fans are kind of let down by at the moment, obviously Bentancur is not available for this game, but we're kind of sick and tired of seeing the same players make the same mistakes, same experienced players making the same mistakes. And I think actually that naivety of youth that we've seen in Archie Gray and Bergvall and how much they've developed, I think there is not a better way to showcase that than on the biggest stage for Tottenham in Europe this season. This is the biggest game of the season, and the trust that Ange Postecoglou has kind of instilled in Gray, you know, partly down to the fact that he hasn't had a choice because of the injuries. Archie Gray, I think he's ready. He's proven that he's responsible and he can step up to the mantle. And I think him and Bergvall in there, that rotation, neither of them are necessarily a natural number 6, but I think they're both. Gray is obviously more of a natural defensive midfielder than Bergvall, but their ability to both play under pressure, their calmness, their kind of awareness of Tottenham's build-up patterns to kind of both rotate in and out of there, I think is key for Spurs. So I think Gray, for me, gets the nod. I do think it will be Basuma. I think he'll go with that. I think it will be Maddison in midfield. Obviously, Sarr played at the weekend. Basuma and Bentancur played at the weekend. I think Maddison will definitely come back in. He was on the bench. Sonny will start the game. Solanke will start the game. The fullbacks are very interesting. I don't know what you guys think. Please do let me know in the comments, Spurs fans, what you think Ange Postecoglou is going to go with. Will he go with Jed Spence? Will he go with Destiny Udogie? Now, Destiny Udogie did not get any game time at the weekend. He didn't get any game time. Or did he come on right at the end? I feel like he may have come on right near the end of the game. I'm not sure. He was definitely warming up. I tried to erase that game from my memory as quickly as possible and start looking ahead to this. I think Destiny Udogie, I think, will get the game just because he didn't. He had very limited minutes or no minutes from my recollection on Sunday. Porro obviously come off in the game. Jed Spence, I think. Ange Postecoglou is not going to win any Spurs fans over or win any Spurs fans back by not playing Jed Spence on tomorrow. Jed Spence is our best fullback. He's been our best fullback this season. I'm not saying he's about our best fullback overall, but he's been our best fullback this season. It's the biggest game of the season. I think you have to play him. And I think, again, when you're thinking about defending transition, obviously Porro leaving space in behind, which, again, is not necessarily his fault, more of a fault maybe of the system exposing those kind of frailties. We leave our fullbacks so far, so high up the pitch. And, again, we're going to be doing that on Thursday because we're chasing this game, right? And AZ Alkmaar are quite happy to sit in and hit us on the counter-attack. So I think having Spence, who has probably got the energy more to go back the other way, again, from an attacking point of view, he's going to give you a lot as well. I quite like the idea of Odobert playing on that right-hand side and being able to kind of drift inside, combine with Solanke, create as well, because we're going to need to unlock that low block. I think you lose an element of creativity without Porro playing. But again, Odobert kind of moving in, picking the ball up on the right, kind of drifting inside, running, taking on men, that ability to kind of go both ways. Spence kind of going on the outside of him. I think, if not, I think I would probably go with Porro at right back again, just to be able to maybe create and combine and unlock that low block and allow Odobert to stay a little bit wider and have Porro come in and kind of pick up more central positions and create centrally, combine with the likes of Maddison and Bergvall, and then move Spence over to the left. But I think he will probably go with Destiny Udogie. I think he probably will do that. Maybe allow Sonny a little bit more space to kind of come inside, get shots off against the lower block. They're going to sit in a little bit deeper and allow Udogie to kind of go round the outside of him. But we shall see. We shall see. I do think Odobert should start. I think, again, I think he probably will start Brennan Johnson, which, again, I think is pretty counterintuitive when you're playing against a team that are quite comfortable to sit in and defending a lead. This is a team that held on to a lead and punished Galatasaray by going 2-0 up away from home, one of the fiercest places to go. Obviously, the margin for Galatasaray was a lot bigger than it was for us. They won 6-3 on aggregate. We're only 1-0 down. And if Spurs get a goal early, that changes absolutely everything. And then Brennan Johnson might come into the game a little bit more. But I think to start off with, I think in terms of that, and I also think with Wilson Odobert, I think, again, that end product is not there right now. I don't think it is there right now, but he's really showing glimpses. I think I'm liking what I'm seeing from Odobert at the moment. Again, I think that final product needs to improve. I think maybe he's can be a little bit too erratic. He's trying to find that rhythm. Obviously, to play as a winger in the Premier League, just needs to kind of slow himself down a little bit. At times, you look at Desiree Doué last night. Honestly, I was kind of crying into my pillow watching that performance. What a player! But I do think Odobert will grow into something really, really good for Tottenham, and I've kind of maintained that the whole time. And I think, again, given him the confidence to go and play in this game, I know he played 90 minutes the other day, or certainly played most of the game again. Forgive me if I can't remember. But that's what makes me think he will go with Johnson, because he didn't start. He came off at half time on Sunday. But yeah, another option is potentially Mikey Moore, who has obviously ripped this opposition apart before, getting chances on the right or the left. Obviously started that game on the right, then moved over to the left. Again, Moore wasn't even on the bench on Sunday, which is obviously very disappointing, but I think he will be on the bench tomorrow. Matisse Tell is potentially another option as well. I think obviously he didn't play any football on Sunday. He didn't come on at all. Maybe he starts Tell through the middle and puts Solanke on the bench. I'd be amazed if he did do that. But again, you think of Solanke, didn't look very fit on Sunday, but I think it's good that he got the 90 minutes in his legs and didn't get injured again. So I think he will go with Solanke. But maybe there's an option to kind of, as the game goes on, bring Tell over onto this left-hand side potentially and get him facing the goal. Get him combining with Solanke and get him facing the goal, running at the opposition, getting forward rather than playing with his back to goal. Yeah, I would like to see that at some point in the game. Getting Tell on to kind of run at that defence, combine with Solanke. It's clear that he cannot play with his back to goal. I think I would like to see these two linking up, Tell running at that defence, being able to get shots off that way. But I don't think Tell will start the game, if I'm being honest. So that is probably the team I think I'd lean towards going with. Maybe Spence at left back and maybe Porro at right back instead. But you guys let me know what you think. I think it has to be Bergwijn midfield. I think, again, Maddison, you're going to need that creativity to unlock a lower block that AZ Alkmaar are going to play with. They're going to sit in and counter. Again, they're coming into this with confidence. This is a more confident team that is more assured of themselves than when we played them in the league phase. They showed that last week, despite the fact that we were poor. AZ were good, and they probably should have won that game by more. If you look at their defensive record, they've conceded 24 goals in the Eredivisie. I think that's the second best defensive record in the division. Again, away from home, they've only let in 12 goals, which is the second best defensive record again behind Ajax, who've only conceded 11. And you look at that recent form, they are really kind of growing in confidence and stature. A defeat before our game against them last week to Heerenveen, but they're going to be confident in this one. They are, and Ange needs this. He absolutely does need this. And I think he might be done if we don't. And like I said, we will speak about that when it comes to it. Next video will be on Friday. We'll be reacting to this game. Then we'll be looking ahead to Fulham as well, breaking that one down early next week. And then we'll be into some more content. We'll be talking about Johnny Cardozo. There's going to be a video coming on him. There's also going to be a video where we're looking at potential next manager options as well, if Spurs are to make that decision. And then we've got other stuff planned as well. A keep or sell we're probably going to do. Let me know video ideas you want to see for the international break. Like I said, I do apologise for the lack of content recently. I've just been, just a bit tired of Tottenham. Just a bit, it's just all been very kind of, we've all been a little bit broken over the last few weeks, haven't we? And, that inspiration to make the content and kind of preview the games and break them down when we're kind of either seeing the same mistakes or even if we have seen good things, like I think we saw against Man City, it's just these league games aren't really meaning anything. So it's hard to kind of really get motivated to kind of come on here and talk about them. So I do massively apologise for that and the lack of content, but we are going to be far more consistent between now and the end of the season, looking ahead to next year, obviously, but looking ahead to tomorrow's game. This is must win for Spurs. It's do or die. Let me know your score predictions in the comments. Up the Spurs.